Hello there, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Big. Hi. Okay, now today we've got one of these little books. You can buy them quite cheaply. And we're going to decorate it. Now I'm decorating this one as a leaving present, and the way I'm going to do it is I am going to do cross stitch. Now I've bought a magazine, although you can get loads and loads of free patterns off the internet, and in this magazine there was probably about 20 things I could use. So I know, just sort of, well, this size square. So first of all, what I'm doing is they always say blue, I don't know why. I'm not going to be using blue thread, so I'm quite happy to do this. And all I'm doing is loosely tacking a line there. Won't worry about the knot. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what I can do is I can take these stitches out afterwards. And what I've got then is the grid, the same as you would find on a pattern. Now, this is a really old magazine, but as you can see, you know, there's all sorts of things, Bob the Builder, and if you wanted to take a small piece out of a bigger picture, then you could do. Yeah, and when all of these patterns, they have the grid there, so, you know, it just means that you can glance. And then you just follow that line along, so that we've got a grid. Makes life a little bit easier. Alright, so I'm going to stop doing that. You don't need to see me do that. And what I have here is my embroidery thread. Now some of these are like posh ones, and some of these are like, I think it's Poundland multi-pack, or it could be, you know, it's that sort of ilk. So I'm going to cut a manageable length. I don't want too much in one go. And I didn't do a very good job of cutting that, I'm afraid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split, pull. Yeah, and I'm going to go with 3 strands of thread. They normally have 6 strands. I guess it says on the packet. And then I'm going to pull it apart. So I can use that bit, and I can use that bit. I've got my needle here, and I'm going to thread these 3 through the hole. So what I did there was just twist them, just to make it a bit easier. Sometimes you can just get 2, and the other one would be a bit difficult. And yeah, okay. Now the nice thing about cross stitch is that if you have, oh, I've got a hoop here. Yeah, if somebody can lend you a hoop, they're quite cheap to buy. I actually find them a nuisance, but it depends. What the idea of the hoop is that you can get them as tight as possible. So, and then we can just, if we know we've got to go up 10 spots, because we have the grid already done, we can do that. Okay, now so if I was going 10 spots that way, I would go like that. This is why I'm not very good with the hoop, actually, I suppose. And then follow the next dot, and then go back along them to do the crosses. And cross stitch is beautiful, it looks stunning. Okay, that's enough of that. It's kind of like one of those things. I'd love to do cross stitch, I really would, but can't, so I don't. And I'm sure I could if I practiced, but I don't. Okay, so yes, I'm a sewing machine girl. I have to accept it. What I've got here, sewing machine, blue thread, blue F, and I'm putting it on a white background. Now I don't have a setting on here to do the sort of stitch. I can take my plate out, which is my tea. So what I've got it set on is the buttonhole stitch, and I'm just going to sew round there, making sure that I'm as close to the edge as possible and making sure that it lies flat. So even if you don't have a fancy machine, you can still do really fancy things. Okay. Alright, the tension's getting a bit upset. You can see why. And then, are we going to work? Yes, we are. So yes, I know, keep on going round. If I have some fancy craft scissors, then I would cut the edge of this. And if I had some riffraff or even nice ribbon, I could sew there. So even without a fancy machine, we could still do something stylish and turn a 25p book into a very nice present. So, I think I'm going to pause the camera, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to go on to the sticking. Okay? So, welcome back. Okay, so I finished my F and I found some little flower buttons, so I've put those on. I know, very simple. I'm going to use pads. I think it'll be just nicer. Glue's not, well, you're going to have to get a special type of glue to work on that shiny thing. And I don't know if I said actually that because of where I work, there's so many of us that we instead of sending cards when people move on to better and wonderful jobs, we usually use a little book like this just so everyone can sign it. And yeah, it's just a lot nicer. Yeah, so I know, all I'm doing is putting a pad at each corner. I know, it's easy enough. And yeah, I think a lovely little gift. And I spent 25p on the notebook. I know, it wasn't in a sale or anything, it was just at Asda's and they're 4 for £1. They're not on sale when the kids are going in and out of school, but they're on sale the rest of the year. And yeah, a bit wonky, but ideal. And I know she'll love it because she likes that sort of shabby chic stuff. Alright, thank you ever so much for watching. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee.